You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
How is it November 1st already? It was just January, like a minute ago. And now we're November 1st. We're already past Black Adam, hurtling towards Black Panther. How is this possible? There's supposed to be 365 days in a year. Does it feel like we've had a lot of days? Doesn't it feel like Spider-Man had just come out? Doctor Strange was on the horizon? Morbius was about to come. I mean, is it just me? Or does this year seem to have shot by? Yeah, Sean's right. It's crazy. Just this year has just been insane. You know, and you turn on the news and it's just Russia and Ukraine have been fighting for this entire year. It started in February. We're in November. They were supposed to lose in about 3 days. I don't know, man. I blinked and this year is almost over. Halloween stuff is on half price now, and Christmas is being put out. I ran over to the store this morning, and they did. They had Halloween bags of candy for half off, and the Christmas stuff was being put out. Didn't we just have Christmas? Oh, man. It gets older as you get worse. Kyle says, yes, it feels like we have had all these days. The day I saw Doctor Strange felt like about 5 days. Yeah, it goes by fast. As you get older, it goes by faster, by the way. I remember my brother when I was younger telling me he had this theory that as we get older, we have a bigger experience range. So when we're 7 years old, 1 year is only 1/7 of our life. So it seems like a lot. But now, I'm 52. 1 year is 1/52nd of my life. That's much smaller. Maybe that's why it seems like it's going faster. I'm getting old. Old. Hey, Lyle. All right, guys, I guess we should start the show. Go ahead, Kyle. Guys, it is Tuesday, November 1st. It's the damn Wickline show here on The Experience. And we got lots of people here already. We got Sean, Triple B, Lyle, Ed, and Cool Gamer. I'm glad you guys are all here. We got some news to catch up on. And then we're going to talk about shows from last week because my plan was to talk about these shows on Thursday. But Kyle, who said he had a 15-minute report, took up the whole hour. So with great stuff, mind you, it was a good hour, but I didn't get a chance to talk about last week's Quantum Leap, and there's already a new one that aired last night, which I haven't seen yet. We got a new Andor coming tonight. I still haven't had a chance to watch Tales of the Jedi, which I'll probably watch tonight so we can talk about it tomorrow, and then we'll talk about Quantum Leap this week and Andor on Thursday. That's a pretty quick week. Got that all figured out. So, but we got a ton of news that popped up in the last few days. So we're gonna catch you up on the news that dropped and see what's going on in the world. Now we're not going to talk about politics. Nothing about Paul Pelosi. Nothing about the election. Put all that over there. We're also not going to talk sports. And Kyle and I could talk sports like crazy. We could do an entire show on the NFL, but I am heartbroken after the Panther loss to the Falcons in overtime that should have been the other way. But yeah, JD says, "Wow, Dan isn't an exposed pulsating brain under that hat." No, no, I do have a head. I have the top of a head and hair and stuff. So, go Astros. Yes, go home. Astros, go home. Cheaters.
I
I'm
saw
sorry.
I saw a great TikTok, Dan,
Yeah.
that said that the reason the game got rained out yesterday is because the Astros can't cheat in the rain.
The Astros have become the Tom Brady of baseball. Or is that just the New England Patriots of baseball? So,
Well, I mean, Tom Brady has his own set of problems, and I feel bad for kicking a guy when his wife's dating the younger, more successful version of him.
who's she dating?
Literally anyone else. Have you seen him play this year?
Oh no. Yeah, I'm a Panther fan. We beat them, and we haven't beat anybody. Yeah. Yeah. We beat him with our third string quarterback, having traded away our best player. Yeah, it was ugly. As Jesse Ventura always says, win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. Thanks, Ed. That's good.
My dad had a line that said, "If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying." But
Yeah.
also that if you do cheat and people make fun of you, you have to kind of just take it. I do have one more update from the convention, Dan.
Go ahead.
It's quick. It's that every day as I would enter the convention floor, I would stop by our mutual friend Paul Story's booth, our mutual friend Pat Shan's booth. And Friday when we talked, we were all pretty chipper and we were happy. By the end of yesterday, we looked like something, all three of us really looked like something out of Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
We all had a very good time and we were all exhausted. We were going to make a video for your show today, but none of us had the strength to hold up a camera.
You guys should have. It would have been good. So,
but everyone sends their hellos and their love, and they'll see you soon.
Excellent. So, all right, let's get to the news, the comic book or the news we care about. Like I said, if you want CNN, go watch CNN. Sean, saying that you're not a Texans fan isn't really saving much if you're an Astros fan. Just saying. Because the Texans are bad, but at least they don't cheat. So, all right, guys. First bit of big news is I personally think Marvel did this because DC signed James Gunn. So they went, well, you're going to take one of you. You're going to take one of ours. We're going to take one of yours because that's the Chicago way. It's being reported that actor, and I apologize, I'm going to get this name probably wrong, but Yahya Abdul-Mateen II has been cast as the lead in the upcoming Disney Plus / Marvel Studios series Wonder Man. Now, the character of Wonder Man, of course, was created back in 1964, all the way back in Avengers #9. And he was created by, he gets 3 creators, Stan Lee, Don Heck, and Jack Kirby. Now, he's Simon Williams, son of an industrialist. He takes over his dad's munition company, but doesn't really run it very well, and he ends up losing it to Tony Stark. Now, Williams is upset by it, wants revenge, and he ends up, getting these ionic powers from Baron Zemo, of all people. And, of course, it's also tied to his brother Eric Williams, who is the Grim Reaper, so that's how he gets involved with all this. But he starts off as an antagonist for the Avengers, joins up with like the brother or the Masters of Evil, but he ends up switching sides at the last minute, and his powers are just about killing him. So they kind of put him in a stasis, kind of dead stasis. Well, at one point they use his brain patterns to create the Vision. Hank Pym does that. So that's one connection to the MCU already. Then he's resurrected or brought back, and he becomes a hero and an Avenger and an actor. He's kind of a stuntman actor. Now, how much of all of that is going to end up working into the MCU? It's hard to say because, like I said, the Vision's already been created. They didn't have Simon Williams' brain patterns at that point. So that's probably going to sever that connection there. Simon Williams has always had a thing for Scarlet Witch. I have a feeling that's not going to happen either. So it'll be interesting to see what we get. But what we do know is that the Shang-Chi director, Destin Daniel Cretton, and Hawkeye producer Andrew Guest are going to be the producers on this show and director. But Guest is also going to be the head writer. And we know that Trevor Slattery is coming back. Yeah, Ben Kingsley is coming back as Trevor Slattery, who we've seen so far in Iron Man 3, All Hail the King, the short, and then Shang-Chi, of course, in The Legend of the Ten Rings. That he really just kind of stole the show on that one. Now, if you're not familiar with Abdul Mateen, it's just because you're not familiar with the name, because he's in the Aquaman franchise as Black Manta. So he's in the original one. He's going to be in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, which is coming out on Christmas Day next year. He's also Dr. Manhattan in the HBO Watchmen series, and just other things he's in. He was in The Matrix Resurrection. He was in the new Candyman sequel. He was in The Trial of the Chicago 7, and he was in The Greatest Showman. So you've probably seen him quite a bit. Let's see. Is Morris coming back? I hope so. It would be a bummer to have Trevor back without Morris, but I don't know if Morris would leave. I can't remember the name of the mythical land that they go to, but I don't know if he would leave it if Trevor does. So, what does him being Wonder Man mean for Black Manta? That means there's a good chance the character's done after this movie. Now, will he be killed? Will he just be... I mean, you can't have the same villain over and over and over and over again. So the fact that Black Manta's coming back for the next one means that they're probably going to move on to another villain if there's a third Aquaman. And Aquaman has other villains. He's got Killer Shark. He's got the Fisherman. I don't know what else he's got. If you had the same villain over and over again, you'd be called Batman. Yeah, they've used Joker a little too much. But so Wonder Man's coming out. Abdul Mateen II is going to be him. Yahya? It's spelled Yahya, so I do not know. I'm going with Yahya or Yahya, but I'm going to need to get schooled on that one. All right, guys, let's move on to the next one. And we're going to do a second WandaVision spinoff series. This one's going to focus on Paul Bettany as the Vision. And, of course, the Vision that we get at the end of WandaVision, not the one we're used to with that, has that great line about what is grief but love persevering. And, so we're getting the white one that had to be shown the ship of Theseus thing, and that he is actually the Vision. So that's being reported by Deadline that this is in the works, and it's being by multiple sources. But Deadline's pretty serious when we get that now. It's supposed to be called Vision Quest, which I believe was a Madonna movie back in the 80s. Okay, so it is pronounced Yahya. Okay. So I'm not too far off. Thank you, Ed. Now, the Vision Quest is supposed to be opening Writer's Room sometime this week, and it's supposed to be about the Vision trying to regain his memory and his humanity. Now, there's rumors that, while it's focusing on the Vision, that Wanda Maximoff, Elizabeth Olsen may appear, but it's kind of conflicting because she just came out and said that there's no plans for her to return in Coven of Chaos. She didn't say anything about Vision Quest, so it's possible, but don't expect her to pop up in the Agatha Chaos of Coven of Chaos, though that, which is of course the other spinoff series coming out of that. Now, Jack Schaefer is going to be the executive producer on this and the writer. Jack was the head writer on WandaVision, so you can see that it's all just kind of it's kind of like WandaVision 2. We're getting the second one, but it's focused on White Vision, and that's kind of the feeling that I got, is that it would focus on that character. We'd have to get back to them. By the way, I'm going to jump ahead on the story here, because with us talking about Agatha House of Harkness, there's some casting news for that House of Harkness, Coven of Chaos. I got to remember they did the name change. Heartstopper star Joe Locke has been cast as the male lead opposite of Catherine Hahn in the upcoming WandaVision series, Agatha Coven of Chaos. Now, Locke's character and plot details are being kept under wraps, but sources describe the character as a gay teen with a dark sense of humor. Now, Hahn, of course, is reprising her role as Agatha in the series. Emma Caulfield Ford is also set to reprise her role as Dottie from WandaVision. Now, that one was kind of interesting, because there was a lot of discussion back when that was happening that she might have been Arcana, another sorceress character from Marvel. So maybe they're bringing her back to pay that off. I don't know. Jack Schaefer is also serving as the writer on this one. So Jack's doing 2 shows in a row. And there's an interesting thought that people have right now, and I'll get to that. But Locke portrays Charlie Spring in the Netflix series Heartstopper. Now, this is Agatha Coven of Chaos is supposed to drop next year. It's on the slate for that. But the thing people are talking about that might be is there's a possibility that Joe could be playing Wiccan, like an older version of Wanda's son, one of the 2 boys. Wiccan is spellcaster like his mom. He's gay in the comics. Dark sense of humor describes him. And you look at Joe Locke, kind of looks the part. So I could see them kind of moving ahead age-wise on the character, getting him going towards the Young Avengers show that everybody keeps talking about, that they're, all these castings seem to be, these characters they're bringing in are all part of the Young Avengers. Now, that part's not confirmed, but it makes a ton of sense that he's playing Wiccan. So, what they're going to do is Speed. Maybe Speed's a guest star. I don't know. But again, Joe Locke is definitely in the show, co-lead, but who he's playing, we don't know yet, but there's speculation. So, all right. Let's shift over to DC for this next bit of news. Christine Milioti from the series Made for Love is going to stay with HBO Max, and she's going to play the female lead opposite of Colin Farrell in the upcoming limited drama series The Penguin. Now, they're saying that's still a working title, so it might get a better title, but this, of course, is the spinoff of the Matt Reeves The Batman, and the series expands upon the world Reeves has created for Warner Brothers. It centers on Farrell's character in the film, but Milioti is going to be playing another known character, Sophia Falcone, the daughter of Carmine Falcone, who was played by John Turturro in the film. So Sophia is fighting with the Penguin for control of the city, and Sophia's been around for a long time. She's a big role in the Long Halloween. She was a major character on Gotham for a season, played by Crystal Reed, who then went on to be in Swamp Thing. Now, Milioti stars in Palm Springs as well as Made for Love, but Palm Springs is on the Peacocks. It's a thriller over on. Excuse me. She's in Palm Springs. Over on Peacock, she's in the series Resort, which is about to get a second season. So she's being very busy right now, Christine Milioti. So I hope the Penguin show gets a fun name like Cobblepot and Bands. I missed Jay already. Yeah, if you guys don't know, Kyle's working the board today. Jay is not He's got a toothache, so Jay will not be joining us for tonight's In Stores this week. It'll just be Kyle and I and a dozen books we're going to cover. So you're going to want to stick around for that tonight, along with In Store Minute to Skim It with Miss Jen. So that's the lineup for tonight.
Am I right in saying that one of our books is the best thing Brian Bendis has written in a long time, because at least you can understand where you're supposed to read next?
I was not as pleased with the book as you were, but
no, I mean, at least I'm talking about it's good because the text bubbles are where they're supposed to be and not just seemingly random, like the last couple of books.
Yeah, but it's a confusing book.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying you can read it.
Yeah, and if you want to know what book we're talking about, 5 p.m. tonight local, or 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, in stores this week. All right, continuing with the news. We got, like I said, we got a lot of news today. We've got okay. Now this confused me. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. We've seen in the clips Tenoch Huerta, who's playing Prince Namor, pronounces his name Namor. He says very clearly, "My enemies call me Namor." And that's not how most people say the name. I think most comic fans and stuff say Namor. So, okay. And this is supposed to be more culturally appropriate for what they're doing with Talocan and the Aztec culture, that it would be pronounced Namor, not Namor. That said, Marvel released a featurette today where everybody's talking about Namor or Namor, and they've got Ryan Coogler, Angela Bassett, Letitia Wright, bunch of the cast. And all of them say the character's name. And every single one of them say Namor. Not Namor, Namor. Including Tenoch Huerta. So, which is it? Is it Namor or Namor? Yeah, I pronounce it Namor. Everybody I know pronounces it Namor. But in the clip, he says Namor. So, I don't know. There was another character recently, and I could not remember where it is, but they have different people pronouncing it differently. And I thought it was a Marvel movie as well. And I can't think of what it was, but I pronounced it legally not Aquaman. Okay. So the actor screwed up the pronunciation. Well, that's the thing, is that they have come out and said, because they're going with the Aztec culture, in that culture, that spelling and that pronouncing would be Namor, and that's why they're supposed to be doing it. But if behind the scenes everybody's calling him Namor, don't you think they would have called him Namor? I just, it's confusing. So, but yeah, that's why it's confusing to me, and we'll find out. Triple B says, I'm not sure about this movie. They're already messing it up. That's it. Constantine. Even in Sandman, different people pronounce his name differently. And they do it on Legends of Tomorrow as well. They go back and forth between the two pronunciations. So it might be something like that as well. I don't know. But we will see. The movie comes out in 10 days. They've already had the premiere. So, by the way, if anybody's actually seen it already or knows somebody has, that's the question to ask. All right. And last thing for today. Today, November 1st, is officially James Gunn and Peter Safran's first day in charge of the DC Universe. Now, I mean, if you saw the press release announcing them, they said that effective November 1st, they would be taking over, which is today. So it's going to be interesting watching for the next 8 months, I think it is, or 5, 6, 7 months, as James Gunn is running DC Universe but has to be out there promoting Guardians of the Galaxy, because he's got the Christmas special coming up, and then he's got the movie coming out in May of next year. So he's still got to promote. It's still part of his job to promote it. So he can't just walk away from that. At the same time, he's got a bunch of things at DC to deal with, like Ezra Miller. What the path is going to be, all this other stuff. So it's really just he's just kind of walked into a mess, and he hasn't quite left the old job. He's done. I mean, but even Kevin Feige says, he still has work to do until May. So, I mean, there's a chance the movie is not even done yet. So he might still be working on the movie. Kyle says, I'm sure they spent the day figuring out the coffee machine and how to dial an outside line where the copy machine is, and all of that kind of stuff today. Yep. I'd like to think he walked in the door and went, all right, let's see how we're going to make a Dead Man movie. That would be my choice. You think they're going to get rid of Black Adam and Superman and start over? No, I do not. I think that part of him getting hired is him accepting the actors that are already in place, because I know that David Zaslav and the powers that be at Warner Brothers wanted Henry Cavill back, want Dwayne Johnson in that role, stuff like that. So no, absolutely, they're going to hang on to these actors as best they can, and I think is a pretty good bet that the reason Henry Cavill left The Witcher is because we're going to be moving forward on Superman stuff, and he won't be able to do both. So, nope, I don't think that's going to happen. All right, guys, we have run. Let's see. According to Marvel Wiki, American English speakers say Namor, while Spanish speakers say Namor. There you go. So, all right, let's take our first break. We'll come back and we'll talk about the shows we didn't get to last week. Be right back.
To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey, and behind every page there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Hey, it's producer Kyle. If you like going places where the action never stops, like Las Vegas, the Caribbean, and Atlantic City, then you're probably not who I want to talk to. But if you want to surround yourself with amazing comic books and comic book content made by a devoted group of smart and funny industry insiders, the Experience Members Club was made for you. You can join the experience by becoming a supporting member of our YouTube channel. You get access to exclusive content that no one else gets, like members-only live streams, pre-sales, one-on-one Q&As with production staff, and other content that's exclusively for members. Plus, for a limited time, if you sign up now, you'll be entered into our giveaway of a slabbed comic book. Just call this Wait, hold on. It's 2022. No one makes phone calls anymore. Scan the QR code at the bottom of the screen, or just visit the membership section of our YouTube page, and you'll be on the VIP line of the comic book buffet, baby. Look at the size of those perks. Join today, and I'll be saying, who loves you, baby? Me. The answer is me.
everybody. Welcome back to the Dan Wickline Show here on The Experience. All right, today, well, before we move on to talking the shows, we do have one more little bit of news, and this is mainly for anybody who is a fan of the Arrowverse over on the CW, or what's left of the Arrowverse and the connector things. Stargirl, they announced that it's going to end after season 3, and I think it's a pretty safe bet with Flash ending that that's it. You know, Superman and Lois is the last one hanging on, but will it stay around or will it move to HBO Max? Don't know. They've just announced 30 to 40 layoffs over at the CW. They're cutting money like crazy, trying to save money with the new ownership that came in. So I think with the death knell of the Arrowverse is ringing like crazy. So. All right, let me catch up on some comments here. Slipknot says, off-topic question, did you see Adam Savage's video on movie props? I just saw him feature the Aliens dropship prop and the Kroll glaive prop. There's also one about Ray Batty's jacket from Blade Runner. I've seen a couple of those. I haven't seen those 3, but I have watched Adam Savage. I've been a fan of his since the Mythbusters days, and I do like the fact he's doing it. I saw him... I think it was a Captain America shield he was doing, things like that. So Adam is cool. I like the videos he does. I also like when he goes to Comic-Con in costume and nobody knows it's him. So, yeah, I'll have to check that out. I did see something recently that a Kroll glaive actually popped up on auction recently, that it was going up for auction. I haven't heard what the amount that it went for, but supposedly one of the screen-used Kroll glaives has popped up, and it's got the little sliders for the blades and stuff like that. So we'll have to look into that and see if I can see how much it went for. Triple B says, you think they're going to get rid of Blackhead? Oh, we covered that. Ed says, let me catch up. Ken says, hey. And John, hey, good to see you. And Slip, by the way, good to see you. Glad to see everybody here. Okay, let's talk last week's Quantum Leap. There was a new one last night, and I haven't seen it yet, but we were going to talk about this and last week's Andor on Thursday, but our coverage of the Diamond Retailer Summit went quite a bit longer than we expected, so I'm going to hit the highlights on those before we go into the new Andor tonight and the Quantum Leap from last night. Also, we'll be talking about Tales of the Jedi later this week as well. Slip says the Kroll glaive is very cool. There's many collectors looking for Kroll props. I'm always surprised they haven't done more with Kroll, whether a reboot or a sequel or something, a TV show. It was very interesting what they did. It says, I don't know why, but the glaive from Kroll fascinated me when I was a kid. I used to pretend those falling helicopter leaves were glaives. Yeah, I think we all did. I really do. I think we all did that. So, all right. The interesting thing about last week's Quantum Leap. Now, if you've seen it, it has to do with Ben jumping into the body of a guy who's going through a divorce. Jewel State from Firefly is in it as his soon-to-be ex-wife. They have a kid, and this all takes place during the San Francisco earthquake, when it was during the World Series and all of that. I don't remember the date off the top of my head, but it was like the 90s, maybe the late 80s, but I think it was the 90s. The interesting thing about this episode is this was the pilot. This is what they did originally to try to get NBC to pick it up. NBC came back and said, we like what you're doing, but we don't think this is a good pilot. Here's some money, go shoot another one. And I think we need to set it up better. That was the big complaint, is that if they had gone with this as the pilot, you get dropped in with him already of having jumped. You don't get any setup for the story and stuff like that. So they basically shot another pilot, and then they reshot a good 30 to 40% of this episode so that they could then use it later on. So that's a pretty big commitment from NBC. Like I said, they've already ordered did a back order to get it up to 19 episodes for the season, 18 or 19. But yeah, so NBC was obviously committed to this project. They just wanted a different pilot. So this one got shifted around to make it work later in the season. Now, it's a pretty good episode because you're dealing with the big earthquake, and a lot of the stuff, being a California native, I was keenly aware of all that happened during that earthquake. Just like, when we had the earthquake here in Southern California that dropped freeways and stuff, you kind of pay attention to those things. And they did a good job with that. Also, I think they did a good job of giving us some backstory on Ben. And I think it plays better because he starts remembering his mom in this episode and the falling out he had with his mom right before she died, and why time travel is so important to him, because he really wishes he could go back and say something to his mom. There's that driving force, but we hadn't earned it yet. They hadn't earned us caring that much about Ben. Now, moving it to the 7th episode, we've had 6 episodes to build up how much we like. The 6th episode. So we've had 5 episodes to build up how much we like Ben. And in doing so, it pays off better because, we care that what motivates him, because we've been trying to figure out why he left and all that other stuff when he wasn't supposed to. His fiancée, Addison, is the one who was supposed to be the leaper. He was supposed to be the support, and he leaped, so she has to go in and help him. So you've got that reverse dynamics, but by putting this 6 episodes in, we build up that care for Ben. We want to know what makes him tick. He's been slowly regaining some of his memory. He now remembers that he was in a relationship with Addison. He didn't have that for the first 4. Now he gets that back. Stuff like that. He starts figuring it out. Well, now we get that motivation, and it plays better because we've had so much time with him. Also, the stuff going on in the background, again, I still think they're spending a little too much time on the supporting characters and the story, but they're building up the idea of another leaper, someone else. And they're not sure now. They had this pinpoint location that it looked like Ben was leaping towards, but now they don't know if it's that or if he's leaping to follow this other guy. And we do understand that both Ben and Addison will see him as his real self, not as the person he leaps into, which I don't understand the science behind that. But I do understand the storytelling thing. But when they find out who the guy is and they get out there, the guy doesn't know anything, because when they track him down, because this version of the leaper is from the future. How far in the future? Don't know. Who sends him? We don't know. But right now, the same time that Addison's in, the guy who's leaping knows nothing about quantum leap, so he can't be of any help. So it's just kind of a weird thing they got going there, and it's an interesting dynamic. There's a lot of clever plays going on in this, and they're using time travel really well. It's just a matter of again, it's really strayed quite a bit away from the original formula of quantum leap. You know, the whole thing being focused on, and I know I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but that's what I loved about the original Quantum Leap series. Is it was like an anthology series that focused on whoever Sam leapt into, but now we have whoever Ben leaps into, but it's a little less about that person, more about Ben, why he leapt, and all this other stuff, this other drama that it's getting interesting, but I don't know if that really feels like Quantum Leap to me. So I'm enjoying the series for what it is, but I'm having a hard time reconciling it to the original series. So, but no, they're doing a good job with it, and it's enjoyable. And I'm going to watch the latest episode. But just this one, it was interesting. I mean, they had to do certain things, like since the pilot, they changed the hand device that Addison uses, and instead of having to reshoot everything that she's in holding that device, they basically went, "Oh, it's not working." Takes it back to Ian, and Ian goes, "Well, while I fix it here, use this older one," and it's the one from the pilot. So they did a lot of good stuff to make it work. I like that. Ziggy, yeah, the computer. So yeah, that's the episode. This next one is supposed to be, I think it's a Christmas one. No, it's a Halloween one. They did a Halloween one last night, so it'd be fun to watch that. So we'll catch up on that. All right, let's go ahead and take our other break, and when we come back, we'll quickly talk about episode 8 of Andor and get you guys ready for tonight's episode. Be right back.
Get the inside scoop on everything happening at the experience every week. Join our mailing list by scanning the QR code at the bottom of the screen and then watching your email inbox. Thanks for tuning into The Experience. Help us out and hit subscribe over on YouTube and click the bell when you do. Need some help? Scan the QR code in the bottom corner. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dan Wickline Show here on The Experience.
We are going to talk about episode 8 of Andor with episode 9 dropping tonight. But before we do, please hit the like and subscribe buttons that are down there or wherever they are on your screen, depending on which format you're using, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Stream, Carrier Pigeon. That's a new service, membership services. We can send you the episodes by Carrier Pigeon. Or now that's still we're still working on that. Sorry, that's under production. So remember to check out our membership services. Kyle can throw up the link in chat. This is me nudging Kyle. And remember to follow me on social media. I've got a TikTok going where I do the latest breaking news, or it also pops up on my Instagram, or you can follow me on YouTube as well. All of those are pretty much my name. Just look for Dan Wickline and you will find me on all of those surfaces. All right, let's talk Andor. The last episode was mostly about a couple different, we see Cassian basically go to a work prison. And it's a pretty bad setup because it's not like he's just going into prison. He's going in to a situation where he has to work with other people to create these parts for the Empire. Now, a lot of people online are speculating what those parts are. One of my favorites is that they might be the connector pieces that build the outside of the Death Star. Other people seem to think that they might be the center hub for the wings on a TIE fighter. All of them, I think, are pretty good guesses. Some other ones, but I don't think it really matters. It just, they're things that he has to build. But the setup is interesting because you see him being pulled into that world. Andy Serkis plays the head of the area that he's consigned to, and he runs it like it's a competition. And this is probably what the Empire wants. You don't see a lot of the guards. They're all kind of self-controlled, and the floor is electrified, and they're all barefoot so that if they do anything wrong, one guy commits suicide by just nosediving onto the floor on purpose and kills himself. And it sounds like it's something that happens regularly. And these people are all mad because the heist that happened in episodes 4, 5, and 6 has caused everybody's time to double or get extended, which Cassian's one of the major reasons for that. Yeah, and it is an irony that Cassian is in there for nothing, for not something he did, but he did something that would have put him in there. But Cassian gets pulled into this thing where they run it like a competition, that if you want better food, you want more break time, whatever it is, you have to be one of the top 3 producers. Your table's working against every other table in your sector. Your sector's working against all the other sectors. There's quite a bit going on there. Now, a couple things to note from the episode is that there are people communicating from the different sectors through sign language at certain points. So there seems to be something already in the works, like maybe an escape, prison escape. And everything we've seen so far in this series has been done in 3-episode arcs. The first 3 were all about Cassian getting off of Ferrix and becoming involved with Luthen. And it was basically all about Cassian. The second arc was all about the heist. We got him committed to doing the heist. We meet all the people doing the heist, and we see the actual heist. The third one seemed to be the fallout and watching Cassian become more and more angered towards the Empire. So I think what we're going to end up with is we're going to get something dramatic that happens in this episode that pushes him finally over the edge, and then an escape. Now, there's a pretty good chance there is someone at the table he's working that's going to escape with him. And that's because one of the guys working the table, and I had my notes for for Thursday. I don't have them now, but one of the actors is playing the same character that he played in Rogue One. That was one of Cassian's friends and part of the squad that went after the Death Star plans. So it looks like he's going to escape with this guy. At least that makes the most sense, and that's why they would be good friends, is they escaped prison together. And it's going to be an interesting, they've kind of shown us some of the things, like there's boots right outside the door, so if they can get out the door, they can put the boots on and negate the problem with the floor. So then they just have to negate the guards and get to a ship and get out of there. So I think we're going to get the prison break, and then the third arc will be all about him becoming committed to the rebellion and finding Luthen and getting. So I think that'll happen. But we're also finding all the stuff with Deborah, the ISB agent, who is getting out there more and more, and so I think she's going to become an even bigger part of it. Just like I think the guy that chased him on Ferrix is not done. He's going to eventually become part of this. I should have pulled up the IMDb so I could have all the names. So yeah, I think Cyril is going to end up with Dedra, working with her. We saw the start of that in this last episode where he gets questioned and he even says, look, I can be an asset. I have a feeling that's going to happen. We see Luthen in this episode talking to another character from Rogue One. Let me pull up the episode. Again, I was more prepared on Thursday. Forrest Whitaker's character comes back, and they get the discussion about that. And Forrest Whitaker's character is, of course, Sal Guerrera, is very dedicated to the cause and is a purist of rebellion, but he doesn't think the other offshoots are as pure. And you see Luthen is trying to pull everybody together. That's why they did the heist, is to allow it all to come together. So that's the head he's bumping up against now, is Sal Guerrera. I have a feeling that the last arc will be about doing something big enough to bring the rebellion together. And then season 2 will be about actually making a dent against the Empire. But yeah, I think this whole first season is about forming the rebellion. I think Mon Mothma's character is going to be continue to be important. I think her relationship with her old high school friend, the banker, is going to be very important. And yeah, so I think that's what we're going to get in a little bit in this next episode. But I think a lot of that is going to be the bulk of the final 3 episodes, where I think the prison escape is going to be the bulk of this next episode. But we'll still see everything moving forward. I think there's a good chance that Cyril ends up working with Dedra by the end of this next episode. And I also think that Mon Mothma's hand is going to be kind of pushed in this next episode as well. Maybe something happens to her banker friend. So I see all this these machinations starting. But the big thing is going to be Cassian getting out of the prison. I don't see him being in the prison for the last 3 episodes. I think it's going to be, we had the prison episode. Now it's going to be the escape. So I love what they're doing. Tony Gilroy is doing a brilliant job of pacing the series and giving us these little arcs. I don't know why more shows don't do it that way. Ed says Forrest Whitaker is one of those guys who, to my knowledge anyway, has never starred in anything, but he's been in so many good movies and shows and always gives a great performance. There's been a couple things he's starred in. I think Ghost Dog, Way of the Warrior, stuff like that. But overall, he is a really good character actor and supporting actor. And I love having him pop up here. You know, I thought he was an interesting character in Rogue One. And I like how they explore the backstory of the character in the Clone Wars animated series. But I love seeing him a little younger. You know, we're still 5 years from Rogue One, or probably 4 years and months. So also what they're saying is that this season is 1 year. So there'll be 4 years left at the end of this season. Then season 2 will be broken also into 3-act arcs. Each 3 acts or 3 episodes will be a year. So by the time we get done with season 2, it'll be ready for Rogue One. So we get 1 year for season 1. Season 2 will take place over 4 years. So we'll get a bunch of little adventures of Cassian that build and build and build towards Rogue One. So, yeah, that seems to be where we're going with that. And I look forward to tonight's episode. You know, I'm kind of curious if they are. I mean, I'm confident they're going to do a prison break, but how he gets out should be interesting. This show does tend to kind of subvert expectations. So there's always that chance that he gets out without another way. Would it be possible that, we haven't seen any K2SO robots on the prison planet or where they're imprisoned. So where I thought maybe we would get K2SO going forward, I have less confidence in that, at least in this episode, because I don't see that being something he can use to get out. Now, because we haven't seen any of those robots. It's just been guards. And the guards seem kind of complacent and lazy. So all of this looks like it's set up for a prison break. So, all right, guys, going to have to wrap it up there. Remember to stick around for In Stores this week. Minute to Skim It, starting at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then In Stores this week, myself and Kyle at 5 Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back for that. Have a great night. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.